Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another This Might Hurt. Happy Friday. Sorry about no reading yesterday. I don't know. I got to talking to my daughter and I just ran out of time. So yeah, but everything for a reason and divine timing and so forth. Glad it's Friday today. Looking forward to the weekend, getting together with my circle community, and I believe we're doing a class this weekend, which I'm excited about. And then going over to a foot detox over at the Salt Cave. I'm excited to do that. I haven't done that in a while. I seem to always do that around Christmas. I don't know why. I get maybe it's just seasonal depression or something, but it always makes me feel better. And I get to go with a couple of friends. 3 friends actually this Sunday, and I'm super excited about that. And what's going on tomorrow? I don't think anything's going on tomorrow. I probably have to look at my calendar, but yeah, I'm ready for the weekend. So with that being said, let's get the energies for today. Okay, got the High Priestess with the 3 of Swords under it. So it being under it, I feel like I need to put it this way. So 3 of Swords, usually I guess in a typical traditional tarot would be like heartbreak, right? Or depression or something like that. And it's funny, I was just talking about seasonal depression. So maybe that's what this is, a level of depression. And I think a lot of times we mistake depression for grief. Or no, we mistake grief for depression. I don't think in our country, at least, in the way I was raised in my society, that grief is something that is, I don't want to say taught, but something we don't talk about, right? And so if we don't talk about it, then as children and teenagers and so forth, when we're trying to learn how to regulate our emotions, that's just not an emotion that's ever named. It's not an emotion that is ever acknowledged, and it's not one that's ever done in a way that children can learn how to deal with. So we have this grief, and I've noticed in my life lately a lot more what I can name grief. I never knew what it was before. I guess maybe I thought it was depression, and it turns out maybe it was just grief. And to the High Priestess, which is the understanding of what that is, right? The understanding that grief is a necessary thing in life. It's directly proportional to the amount of love that you had for the thing, or affection, or meaning, or so forth. Because we have secondary grief, right? It doesn't always have to be somebody died. It could be I lost something. A lot of times, and unless you have a pet, you wouldn't understand it. But losing a pet can be one of the most excruciating things. I know in my life, I probably had more grief over pets than I did because I was blessed enough to not have a lot of loss as far as people go in my life. Now I've had to mourn people who are still alive, which is a different kind of grief. Again, it's a secondary grief. But as far as people in my life that have actually passed away, I guess I just have a different idea of what death is. So then I react differently, right? I don't believe that death is the end. I believe death is more like I'm going to walk out of the living room and into the bedroom, and someday you'll walk into the bedroom with me, right? So it's I don't see it as an ending as much as maybe most people do, I guess. And the thing with the people who are still alive, when you become estranged from someone, there's a grief that goes along with that, because now you know it's a choice and it's not out of their hands. So I think on some level for me, that hits a little harder, or at least a little differently. And it's been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in my life, has been the grief over the people who are still with us. Well, not with me, they're with other people, but yeah, and understanding what that's for, right? What is that for? So moving on, we have the Lovers, self-love. You know I love that. Self-love, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun. Wow, 3 major arcana in a row. I love that for us. Self-love and authentic self-love, right? So these people are with no clothes and feet on the ground, and the angel of the, I guess some people might call that Cupid. I'm trying to look at their feet. I don't know why their feet are jumping out at me today, but I don't know if they're on their tiptoes or if it's just the shading of the way things are, but well, feet, I guess, in the Bible would represent understanding, or so I was told by a preacher at Unity Church. Anyway, grounded and still looking up to the heavens. Like there's a trust, there's a faith there that with love all things are possible. I don't know where I got that from, but I want to say self-love, all things are possible. Because you have the power to change anything, right? She's holding the sword, and she's half person, half animal, right? Is that a lion or whichever, you know, it looks like it might be a lion. I don't know. Yeah, maybe a lion. Or I can't think of the word. And I go, you guys are probably screaming at the video right now, but there's a word for that. It was in Percy Jackson. But anyway, you have the power to change it, and you have the power to stop it, and you are holding the power just by how you perceive the situation or how you respond to the situation can turn the whole thing around. Like, you have that power. And to the sun, that childlike joy, quality, puppy, where you're not afraid to ask for help. You're not afraid to be authentic. Everything is just fun. And if it's not fun, then it's not fun until 5 minutes goes by and then you're having fun again. Children are the most resilient when it comes to emotions because they allow themselves to feel their emotions. They're not suppressing it. They weren't, you know, at some point they're not taught yet that quit your crying, I'll give you something to cry about. They have the freedom to just express and feel and move through it. And I feel like when they say children are resilient, I feel like, yeah, they are resilient in that they can adapt to certain situations quicker, but I think they're more resilient when it comes to their emotions because they allow themselves to feel it. So what is the advice for today? What is the advice? Advice for today. Advice for today. I like that. I like this. I don't know, it's so pretty. I don't know. We got actually 4 major arcana. We're going through some major things right now. And a lot of times our biggest lessons will come with heartbreak. Sorry about the interruption. Okay, so our biggest lessons come through heartbreak. I don't know if I said that or if you heard it, but my phone rang and I had to be done with it for a while. So we got the Queen of Cups as the advice. Again, all things with compassion, all things with feeling and emotion and understanding that the nurturing person, the healing, the support is always going to be there. And you can do that for yourself, right? Do that for yourself because a lot of times you're the only one that knows what you need. So let's get some, this might help. Let's get a this might help card. What might help us today? These cards never like to jump for me. I think they're just the size. I don't know. But I feel like they don't often like to jump out for me. So let's see if we can get one. I got a couple. Oh, shoot. That one fell on the ground. Okay, so we've got the garden. And I don't know what, oh my gosh. I got cards flying everywhere, you guys. Hold on. Let's see. And these actually bent completely, which is very strange. Sorry if you can see my head there. But yeah, they got completely bent. I don't know what that's all about. But we have the bonfire and the fish. So I believe that's the Page of Cups. Page of Cups. And the bonfire might be the Ace of Wands. And then the garden looks like the Ace of Pentacles to me. Let's see what we got. I like the Ace of Pentacles, the garden, because it's not you going out and chasing the thing. Actually, no, I'm not going to read these today. We're just going to interpret them intuitively. But you don't go chase the butterflies. You build the garden and let the butterflies come to you. And the bonfire, don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Set your boundaries, right? And do what makes you happy. Be creative about the things that you love. And the fish would be like a fish out of water. So you take it with you, right? So we're all a drop of water from the ocean. At some point, we have to go back to that. At some point, we're going to have to put this fish in a real environment, right? So these things are temporary, if you will. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. You take care. We'll chat tomorrow.